Hello, my wonderful students. This is a Foldable Part 1 for the Section 5.1, Simplifying Rational Expressions, and stating the excluded value. So this is the first foldable. It's a 3-foldable, 1, 2, 3. I know mine looks a little different, but in order to get it right for the video, I had to use this one. So we're going to work out the first one first, which is this one here. So our first one is 15x to the 6th divided by 20x to the 8th power. So just remember, this is what we're gonna apply everything that we learned during the adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and we're gonna use factoring as well to solve and simplify these rational expressions. So the first one, when you have a rational expression like 15x to the 6th power divided by or over 20x to the 8th power, it's easy to write everything out in primes. So if you remember your primes start off with like 2, 3, 5. It's the number that's multiplied by itself and 1 only. So if we did this one here, the two multiples of 15 that are primes would be 3 times 5. And then x, to put it in its primes, is just to put it x 6 times. So it'd be x times x, oops, put it times there, times x times x times x times x. These are our 6 x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to be called factor out the numerator and the denominator. That's what we're doing. First we factored out the numerator. Now we're going to put a division line and we're going to factor out the denominator. Well, I know that 20 is 4 times 5, so I'm going to start with our 5 times, but instead of writing 4, I know 4 can be broken down as 2 times 2, so these are our primes. And then we have 8 x's, so we have times 1x, 2 x's, 3 x's, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we'll extend this line a little bit just so we have it. Well, now in order to simplify, all I have to do now is kind of pair up what we have. So I know we have two 5's here. We have a 5 on the numerator and the 5 in the denominator. We don't have any 3's, we don't have any 2's in common, but we have 1x, 2 x's, 3 x's, oops, 4 x's, 5 x's, and 6 x's in common. So everything that we have in common we can actually cross out. And now all we have to do is write out what's left over. So we have our 3 on top. Oh, do it with a pencil, sorry. We have our 3 over 2 times 2 times x, and then this is equal to 3 over 4 times x squared. So this is our simplified form. Okay, now in order to make this work, we got to find our excluded values. So the denominator of, the original, remember it's very important, expression is, and we see here that it's actually 20x to the 8th power. So we're going to put 20x to the 8th power. So now we can use our theorem that says that 20x to the 8th power equal to 0 to find our zeros. Well, I know if I divide both sides by 20, this reduces just to x to the 8th power, and this just becomes 0 again, and then I know this ends up being x equals 0, because there's nothing I can do here except take the not the squared root, but they'd be the 8th root both sides, but if you take the 8th to the 0, it ends up being 0 either way. Okay, so we know that 0, so x is, so x equals 0 is the excluded value. Okay? So that's good. So this is very important. So I'm going to circle this here because this is our excluded value. So we need to have a conclusion. So we have therefore we have the simplified form is, and we go back to our simplified form, which is here, 3 over 4x squared, comma, where x cannot equal 0 because it's our excluded value. So we know for a fact that x here cannot equal 0.